it's massive, your plans for the future. How much of this is down to perhaps the year that was, and how bad was 2020?
Hi, Richard. Thanks for having me. Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, we're the world's largest hotel franchising company with about 9,000 hotels across 95 countries and with a portfolio of 20 globally well-established brands. And in Asia Pacific, we have more than 1,500 hotels. Now, the ambitious goal that you mentioned is a growth of the number of openings that we are going to hit within 2021. Now, in 2020, we opened more than 120 hotels and executed more than 140 hotels. And that is on the back of 2020, which most would regard as turbulent and unprecedented. But 2020 is by no means a sort of a dip year for us, because the achievements that we made was on the back of what was a good 2019 as well. But we managed to exceed our achievements in 2019. So 2020 is a strong year per se, and with an ambitious 40% growth in openings for 2021, we are all set up for that.
Okay, I mean, of course, 2021, everybody's expecting this bounce back as hopefully travel restrictions are lifted and we get travel bubbles and the like here as well. And that must be, of course, fueling your ambitions here. But, you know, what kind of pattern, what are going to be the contours of this expansion? Are they going to be, let's say, Ramada or something like Days Inn? What are you looking at exactly?
Yeah, we have 20 brands globally, and we have 14 brands at play in Asia Pacific, and we continue to grow. There's sort of a two-pronged strategy. First is the more established brands like Ramada and Wyndham's, and we continue to grow on those brands. But at the same time, we are bringing new brands into new markets. La Quinta, Wingate by Wyndham, Microtel by Wyndham, some of these new brands. And we've gained great traction in some of the new markets that we have implemented the new brands in. So in short, it's a two-pronged strategy of the established brands and the new brands at the same time. Yeah.
Joon, we're seeing a resurgence in COVID cases in markets like Thailand. I mean, you opened 2 hotels there last year. Some more in the pipeline in the coming years. What's your take on occupancy, for instance, your recovery in a market like Thailand?
Yeah, I mean, we continue to see impacts across different markets in Asia Pacific and specifically in Thailand. But what we remain is very focused on working together with our business partners and franchisees to make sure that we maximize the profitability and work together with them to make sure that they, at the hotel level, is providing a healthy and safe environment for the guests and for themselves and for the employees. And throughout the past 12 to 15 months, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts have put together a series of best practices, whether it's on healthy and safety protocols, or whether it's on revenue generation or cost containment. We have come up with a series of best practices that we have implemented into the hotels all across the world and definitely across Asia Pacific.
I'm wondering, though, the risks to your projections, because even for Japan, where you brought 5 of your brands to a new market like Japan, I mean, there are headwinds there. The Olympics won't be, receiving participants from overseas. I mean, what are the risks to all your projections?
Yeah. Let me answer the question this way, Haslinda. First of all, the external factor, right? The hospitality industry, hotels, is a long-term investment. And yes, we are facing adversity over the past 12 months in terms of COVID-19 and some of the dampening, resurgence, and so on and so forth. But hospitality, hotels investment is a long-term play for our owners. And these are sort of temporary setbacks, but when viewed in the scheme of the entire life cycle of the asset, it's just a minor setback. Now, that is one view of why I'm still confident that the demand will be there. But what's more important that's fueling my optimism and my confidence is what I call the Wyndham way of working. Now, at Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, we are very focused, and we remain strongly focused and committed to embrace working together with the owners and taking an owners first mindset. And what that means is, as the cliche goes, stand on the other side of the fence, walk a mile in your customers' shoes. But at Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, we fully embrace that, and we constantly remind all ourselves that we have to continuously practice that to have a balanced view and balanced approach to everything. Every negotiation, every discussion, every meeting, every issue that we face or the hotels face, we
Right.
always adopt a both perspective approach to make sure that we come up with a robust solution. And that's the feedback that we constantly get from our franchisees and owners in terms of the way we work. Yeah.
June, how do you view the competition coming from the likes of Airbnb, which has been tweaking its strategy to hit the markets that you're after as well?
Yeah, in general, I mean, if there's no competition, there's no way we can get better and better at what we do, right? And in terms of they are what we call disruptors or disruptors to the hospitality industry, and we see different ones at different play, but we just have to constantly remind ourselves and be focused on our strategy and what we are good at, and continue to work towards along those lines. And we continue to be very focused on working together with our owners and business partners to help them grow and to help ourselves grow and to make sure their businesses remain strong and profitable.
Joon Aun, when will you be back to pre-COVID levels of occupancy? One part of my question. And the second part is, which is your weakest market and which is your strongest market right now?
We are seeing different levels of performance across different markets. And some markets are at pre-COVID, the benchmark year is 2019. Some markets are at pre-COVID levels, and some are still on the way up, especially the markets that are still considered to be are still closed, right? I would say in China, we are seeing the strongest performance overall, because if there's any country that's almost at the level of normalcy, it is China, is the Chinese market. And that's where we're seeing a strong performance, and our hotels are trading very well. In terms of the weakest markets, I would say it's those that are still closed. Borders are still closed, and there's limited movements, and where the domestic market may not be huge enough to sustain itself.